Welcome back to 843 TV. We're here at the City of Beaufort at City Hall. I'm joined by Nan Sutton and Stephen Murray, both Beaufort City Council members. And we're talking about some of the goals outlined, or newly adopted goals, at the most recent annual retreat, Beaufort City Council's annual retreat. We talked a little bit about economic development and communication. I think that tourism will always be a vital part of our economy. I mean, we were delivered the most recent Southern Living yesterday, I believe, and Beaufort was voted #1 small town in the South. But you want to make sure that our tourism is well integrated with our plans for economic development, right? It's harmonized. Making there's harmony with our with the businesses and the tourism. Can you tell us a little bit about how the city envisions kind of nurturing our tourism base and our tourism, being attractive to tourists, and also integrating that within our business community?
Right. Well, I think we're very fortunate to be, with all these accolades that keep coming to us. Because I think
all the time.
It helps a lot of our local businesses like Nan and like my business.
Sure.
Half of my business is based on the tourists.
Is that right?
Over half, 55%, I think, probably.
Yeah. And so we're fortunate to have that as a major cornerstone of our economy.
Right.
But I also think that we're not always going to be the popular kid.
Yeah.
And I think right now we've been discovered, and I think if you look at tourism marketing, there's a tendency to you see sort of peaks and valleys in your popularity.
Yeah.
And so I think now, while we're really busy and we've got the revenues and the resources, it's important for us to look to diversify other parts of our economy.
Sure.
And so if you think that we've got a large percentage of new people coming through Beaufort to visit, you have to imagine a lot of those folks are decision makers in their small businesses or their small corporations. And I think a lot of folks have that idea of, well, hey, this is going to be a great place to retire. So maybe I'll buy a house now, and then in 5-10 years I can retire. Right. And what we'd like to do is plant that seed that why wait? We've got great resources, we've got great infrastructure. And so that's, I think, what viewers, are sort of our call to action to viewers, to real estate agents, is if you're working with these folks that are in town who love it here, let's ask them, would you consider moving your business here? And to reach out to the city or to the chamber or to the incubator programs we have, because we have a lot of resources to help them be happy and healthy and vibrant here, and maybe not somewhere in the Northeast where they have to deal with snow. So one of our goals is to work with our partners to find ways for us to integrate our economic development message with our tourism message.
Sure.
And that's simply, you love it here now, you love visiting here, would you consider moving here and bringing your business if you have one?
Right, yeah. Man, that's a great stat. Is that something you track, when people make a purchase, where they're from?
Well, actually, I did track it for 2 years, and I did it in May, which is the core downtown. That's the traffic lowers then. If I did it in March or April, I did a little study. I did it for a month long. I bet it would be even higher.
Yeah.
With tourists.
Yeah, and Nan owns a retail business on Bay Street, which is a heavily trafficked area for tourism here in Beaufort. Okay, moving on, we're talking about the goals set at this year's annual retreat by the Beaufort City Council. One thing that I know that our friend John Verity likes to speak out is the Northwest Quadrant, an infill in the Northwest Quadrant, and the Old Commons neighborhoods. So for those of us who are trying to picture where the Northwest Quadrant is in Beaufort, can you kind of give us a geography lesson where that is?
Yeah. So Northwest Quadrant is basically Charles Street.
Okay.
So I guess it would be north of Charles Street or east
Charles
of
to
west of Charles Street. Yep. Almost to Boundary. And then it's I think Prince up to about Boundary Street.
Okay.
So that might be a little off on the exact boundaries.
That's historic downtown Beaufort.
But it's in the historic district. And it's been a neighborhood that has a lot of opportunity for infill. So there's many vacant
40% of it, I believe.
Yeah, many vacant lots.
Okay.
We've had issues with sort of dilapidated, abandoned, and blighted houses and structures in there. And so over the last couple of years, I think the city has said that we're no longer going to tolerate dilapidated and abandoned structures. That's not good for anyone. It's not good for healthy communities or property values. And so we've been trying to figure out strategies to help encourage the private sector to come in and build either new structures on vacant lots or to renovate and rehabilitate some of the historic structures.
Sure. And you know, we've got a couple of different opportunities for infill there. There's the super high-end houses that are, you know, available to those who have the resources, and then we also need to be aware of the need for more affordable housing,
right,
in Beaufort. And how does the city help with you know, advancing that?
Well, that's something I think we're pretty excited about, and we're going to put a lot of energy into this year. We've talked a little bit about economic development and how you know, the cost of living is really going to be a challenge for us.
Mm-hmm.
And just a couple of numbers. So the average cost of owner-occupied housing in the state of South Carolina is about $137,000 a year, or $137,000 per unit. Sorry.
Right. Okay.
In the city of Beaufort, that number is just over $250,000.
Okay.
Meanwhile, per capita income is $27,000 and some change.
Mm-hmm.
So if you've got two working folks at home making $60,000, but then they have to go out and find a $250,000 house, those numbers just don't work.
Mm-hmm.
So as we continue to see, you know, the cost of owner-occupied housing go up without a whole lot of increases in income, we see what's happened over the last 10 years, and that's 25% of our 21 to 44-year-olds leaving the city.
Yeah.
And that's not good for anybody.
Mm-hmm.
We really want to maintain our community diversity. So Phil Cromer is heading up our Affordable Workforce Housing Task Force, in conjunction with Habitat for Humanity and the Beaufort Housing Authority. And so they are looking at a couple of projects now to encourage several affordable or workforce housing throughout the city. So hoping in the next year we'll have some exciting news.
Awesome. Well, this is great stuff. Thank you very much for sharing some of the what went down at the annual retreat and City Council's goals for the next couple of years. Thank you very much, Stephen and Nan.
Yeah, thanks, Will. Thanks for having us.
And stick around for another segment of 843 TV.